Hello and welcome to Stage 3 of the Formula E Berlin e-Prix event. I am racing in my Mahindra car. Happy to choose that car. I've never had one before. First time that we see them in the game. Mahindra has been in Formula E since its inception. Now, don't be shocked at your power. It's shocking to see that when you have basically 2 full laps to go. But this is my first time trying this stage, and this is my only time. So pay attention to how much coasting I do. Like right there, I'm just coasting. A little bit of feathering of the throttle there. I'm not really going to get on the brakes very much. So it's a balance between finishing in the allotted time frame and not using up your battery power. You don't want to use up all your battery power, you're going to fail. At least that's what it said. We've got to finish with enough power. If you ever go to zero, it will not recharge. So right now you'll notice that as I'm coasting, like I'll do a bit more coasting here. See how it's rebuilding as I'm coasting? Even if I touch the brakes a bit, it's still going to rebuild a bit. If it ever goes to zero, it will not rebuild. So you're just going to be done. And this is my, like I said, my one and only time doing this stage. I was, getting a feel for it and looking at my battery power here. Well, not bad. I didn't use all that much for the first lap. So for the second lap, I'm going to push it a little bit. My tires have warmed up an awful lot. 75, 78% tires. That's going to already feel pretty good. So I'm going to push it a little bit harder here. Still do a little bit of coasting. I don't want to do a lot of braking. You definitely don't want to be hitting the walls when you're trying to save battery. That's really going to eat up your momentum. So don't hit the walls and don't skid. And you might say, oh, I should just use traction control then. Traction control is brakes. So traction control could just eat up more of your momentum. It's better to just manage your momentum. I'm not saying you should never use traction control, but I will say it's one of the biggest speed killers in the game. A lot of people don't understand. Traction control is brakes. That's all it is. So looking at this, I still have 1% battery. I'm just going to hammer it down for the rest of this event. No trouble at all. I kind of pushed it on the time, but really, that's not bad. So, not very difficult. I'm a tad bit overtuned. I have 0.3 more PR than I have to have. It looks like I could have skipped one of the tunings. So, tiny bit of an advantage. See, it says I need 56 and I've got 56.3. All right, and so for this one, can't get overtaken and engine's overheating. So I tried this stage once and I laid back quite a lot and I realized it really wasn't that hard to stop the engine from overheating. So I restarted it and this time I'm going to push it and I'm just going to see how close does this thing get to overheating. Because I'd like to finish as high up as I can. I want to earn as many M dollars as I can in these events, and so the higher I place, the better. I also wanted to see what would happen if I could draft off of Evans at all. Not sure if that would help me with overheating or hurt me, but it'll certainly give me a little bit more speed. So just so you know, if you've never done this type of a stage before, you see that there's a thermometer between the C and the H, the cold and the hot. Usually that's going to start flashing right before you actually overheat. If you actually overheat your engine, you're done. And not a big deal, you just retry the event, but this thing didn't flash once for me. Now, I did do a little bit of coasting. I didn't push it crazy hard because we got Evans, and I drove in here a little bit deep. Oops. Well, that was kind of a dirty overtake. Someone had commented on one of my videos that a lot of overtakes in Formula E racing are kind of dirty. I haven't watched it much, so I didn't know, but that comment made me feel a little bit better. It makes sense when you've got these narrow tracks and you've got a lot of cars on them fighting for position. So there we go. It's part of racing. There's a line from the movie Days of Thunder that I like to quote in situations like that, and it goes, "Rubbing is racing." So it's just part of it. So look at that. I'm really pushing. Oh, that's my tail flashing, my tail light flashing. I thought that was the engine temp flashing. In these stages in the past, I'm pretty sure that it'll start flashing before it blows up, and you actually get a bit of a warning sound that happens that lets you know that you're really close to blowing up. As you can see here, I'm pushing it pretty hard. And really not much of an issue here. Woohoo, that was really close to the curb, wasn't it? That's kind of fun. I like to really push my limits in these earlier stages. I mean, this is still kind of early in the event. Just, trying to learn the track limits. And so that if I get a hard stage coming up, I've already kind of honed my skills. You'll probably notice if you watched my stage 1 and stage 2 videos, you'll notice I'm doing a lot less sliding around now. I'm getting more confident in my braking points. There we go. I had no trouble with that stage. And oh, look at that, first place. I'm happy with that. I'm glad I pushed it. All right, more M dollars. That means less racing I have to do after this is done to fill up my daily amount. Now, I wasn't quite sure what I was dealing with in this next stage. You have 40 seconds to reach the start-finish line. After that, you have to set the fastest lap. So, got to take notice where we're starting here. Kind of maybe a third to a halfway through a lap. I'm not quite sure here. So I just thought, well, I better just push it as hard as I can. Just do the best job I can. And then, woo, that was a little bit too close. Oh, nuts. I did clip that curb just a tiny bit. And again, I'm still not really confident in my braking point here. Pretty happy with that, but kind of got tangled up here, so I'm a little bit worried. But looking down at my clock there, 10 seconds left, I don't think that's going to be a problem. Okay, I'm going to grind you down a little bit. Going to force you to get onto the brakes a bit. There we go. Now, that had me nervous. My clock says 00000000, and I thought, well, did I fail the stage? But don't worry about it. It's just when that clock runs out, it just sits there like that. And then I hit the wall. So I'm honestly a little bit worried if I'm going to be going fast enough. So just push it. I'm going with a third distance marker, but you really got to start turning early or you can't power out of this corner. I talked a little bit about that in another video, that braking points aren't all you need. You also need proper trajectory. So if you don't get into the corners at the right time, your braking points want to help you. Like that. That was not good. But here we go. This is looking pretty good. So he's finished in 101. I ate another wall. Come on, man. I overdrove it. However, I was more than fast enough. I think I'm about 2.5 seconds faster than the guy closest to me. So pretty happy with that. But I've noted where I need to still make some improvements. Now, next race will probably require more tuning. So I'm going to have to take a look into that as we get there. And definitely need more. So I've already looked at this and I only need 3 to bump myself to the next level. Then I got to watch a bunch of ads, and through the magic of videos, you were already there. I mean, I'm not going to make you watch me watch ads. It's kind of silly. So I've got the bare minimum to enter into this race, and I should have no trouble with this because I had no trouble last time getting a 58.762 lap, and I had less tuning. So I'm going to work on this a little bit. In a normal time trial, if you hit a wall hard enough, you'll fail. In normal time trials in the game, you can get away with a little bit of wall tapping. In weekly time trial tournaments, it's super sensitive. So I'm not going to risk it. I'm going to try to stay off the walls here. Went with a third distance marker into the gas, a very short braking point along here, and then power through this full speed. And I'm going to be braking after that first sign and get my turning in into the gas. No, that's pretty good. And then just as I'm passing, just as I start to hit that banner, I brake, turn early, gas early. I'm pretty happy with that. And yeah, that's a much better time. That's fabulous. So stage 3, hey, that was a fun stage. I enjoyed that. So far, I'm liking this event. And I'm not going to be adding up my tuning each day. I'll wait till the very end and do a full assessment of this. And there you go. So hope there are some tips that helped you there. I didn't do much crazy today. Looks like some nice bonus amounts too there. 50,000 M dollars. Hey, that's a nice bonus amount. And who doesn't love getting gold on top of the M dollars? So there we go. That's the end of stage 3. I'll have stage 4 up in about 24 hours. Thank you for joining me.